If my video schedule is up to date, my video of how dogs are comparable to God should have already been on for about a week. So this is an addendum to that. Because, as ever, there are always things that one can talk more about or expand on. As I mentioned in that video, Johnny P. Angel got essentially the canine equivalent of the Roman Catholic Church. Bulldogs have a poor reputation, to say the least. As I said, most bull breeds are on the dangerous dogs list. But strangely enough, as I said before, that has nothing to do with the dogs themselves. More often than not, it's to do with how they are bred and how they're looked after by their owners. Considering the history of dogs, it is interesting to think that he considers them better than God when they have undergone more change in the past 1,000 years than God has since the creation of Yahwehism. Some people might say a dog is a dog. Some people might say that one dog is like any other dog. In Christian circles, there's very much a belief that all dogs are the same type of dog and therefore not a descendant of wolves. But ultimately, you can find many arguments to counteract all the things I said about dogs, and that also apply to God. I'm pretty sure I'll leave it to the atheists to do all that debating over whether what I say is true or not. But if anyone's going to find fault in reasons for things being like God, it's going to be atheists. Doubtless I'll come up with more things to say when I'm out walking the dog this coming week. But the more you spend time with dogs, the more you understand them. And the more you want to avoid dogs, the more problems you might have. Interestingly enough, just yesterday in fact, I was helping someone rally, or wrangle rather, the dogs. They'd just gotten out and are running amok around the neighbourhood. They weren't particularly dangerous dogs, they were spaniels. But regardless of how dangerous they were still demanding pets, treats, cuddles, scratches, all those sort of things when they were back in the house where they should have been in the first place. Unfortunately, the second that you even acknowledge they exist, or even glance at them in the wrong way, they will jump up and be like, "Oh, do I get my pets? Do I get my pets?" Pushing them, knocking them down, telling them no, it's not going to make a scrap of difference. The same is true when you acknowledge a church, acknowledge a Christian, acknowledge anything to do with God and the church. If they're doing something that you don't like them doing, the second you acknowledge that, they're going to actually come down you like a ton of bricks. as it were. They won't leave you alone, they will pester you. No matter how much you say, no, I'm really not interested, just leave me alone. It happens, sadly. So don't be at all surprised if you're just trying to live your life and then you happen to drop a like or a comment on a post bashing theists, and all of a sudden they are circling like hyenas. Poor analogy, I'll admit, due to the fact that hyenas are closely related to cats rather than dogs. You get what I mean. One thing many people might say is that when you're with God, you have to remain focused on God and only God, despite many other things trying to tear your attention away. I personally believe that all phones should be banned when out and about. You sort of have on you, but not have in your hand. And especially when you have something else to focus on, be it a child or be it a dog. Not just for the safety of people, but for the safety of the dog, for the safety of yourself. Because if a dog sees someone it knows across the street and decides, I'm gonna go say hello, and rush across the street, it might get hit by a car. But also, if you're holding the lead at the time and you're not paying attention, it could drag you with it very, very easily. And then all of a sudden, it might be okay, but you're on the car. So whenever things seem risky, always keep a close eye on your dog. Always keep your dog in the forefront of your mind whenever you're close to them, whenever you're out with them, whenever you're doing anything with them. You'll find that it helps an awful lot to keep track of things if you keep them in the forefront of your mind. I often leave my phone at home when I'm out with the dog. Even though, as I said, she's a high-end breed, she's too easy to get stolen. But what's more likely to happen? Me getting totally distracted by my phone and then her getting swiped by someone? Or me remaining perfectly vigilant and her getting swiped, so then I have to call for help? Really? If you're going to be honest with yourselves, then you have to admit the latter is the least likely of those scenarios. Simply because if you remain focused and alert around your dog, the chance of them being stolen in the first place is very unlikely. Does that mean I'll be bringing on to the channel my dog at any given time? Probably not. And like I said, it could very well be another dog that I bring on. It could be that I go down south, end up doing a small video whilst at a friend's house, and out comes their Cacconi. End up out and about doing a walking video, and then all of a sudden out comes another dog. Is that my dog? Is that another dog? Who knows? Not you. Because you don't know me, and as a result, you don't know my dog. You may also ask, what about different denominations? What about the different branches of the church? Are they all the same? If they're technically still a type of dog? Yes and no. Because there are some dogs who are bred just subtly differently from others. Bull terriers, pit bull terriers for example, they are bred to go after bulls in the bull ring. But there are also Jack Russell terriers who are bred to go after rats. Sometimes in the ratting ring, but more often than not in farmyards, because cats really can't be bothered half the time. I can imagine many people trying to argue against it, but seriously, I think those people that actually know about dogs and those people that also know about God would actually know full well what I'm on about. I'm pretty sure if I bring together a dog breeder and a priest that actually have similar ideas about both and develop those ideas even further. So I don't be doing this video really. Just need to find Jenny Gray and what was her name? The lass who bred our dog. I don't remember. Animals teach us an awful lot about ourselves, as well as about God. So it's always best to keep an open mind. At the end of the day, when you're sitting down at home with your four-legged friend, you'll see just how much peace there is in the home when you've got a dog around. They help wear out your children. They help teach them responsibility. They help them express ideas of fairness, of care, of love. And also teach us that just because they don't speak the same language, or any language for that matter, they can still let us know what it is they are doing, what it is they want us to know. And at the end of the day, they can communicate with us perfectly fine. Sometimes just letting a dog run around the back garden can teach you all you need to know about them. As Jane Goodall pointed out, you can't expect animals to react normally in a zoo, let alone in a lab. So why are we studying them there? I want to study their behaviour. Let them behave naturally in their natural environment. So remember that. Dogs are way more like God than anyone wants to admit, especially those that don't want to. I know it's Captain Obvious speaking, but sometimes the obvious needs to be spoken. So So remember that. Stay humble. Stay safe. And God be with you, my friends.